Okay, so let's say you are sitting in SketchUp and you want to learn how to move the camera around effectively. So the first thing we need to look at is in the bottom left corner here, you will see this icon. And if I make this easier to see here, there's five different options here for the camera movement. The three most important ones are the three top here. Okay, so we have orbit, we have panning, and we also have zoom. So first off, let's start with orbit. So orbit looks like this with this little icon on my cursor. And when I click and drag with orbit, it will let me revolve around whatever I am currently looking at. Okay. And this is nice because I need to see multiple sides of things usually, especially when I'm building larger objects. It'll also let me look underneath objects and on top of objects. Basically, I can revolve 360 degrees in 3 dimensions here with the orbit tool. Okay. The next tool is the panning tool. And what the panning tool does is it's a little hand, and when I click and drag, it will let me move horizontally and vertically of the direction that I'm pointing with my camera. Okay, the interesting thing about the orbit tool and the panning tool is that they're kind of connected. So if I go to the orbit tool, okay, and I select orbit tool right down here, and I select orbit, it will let me, of course, orbit around the cube, right? But let's say I want to pan really easily. If I just hold the left shift button on my Chromebook or my keyboard, it will turn into the hand. See what's happening? So I'm hitting shift, not shift, shift, not shift. Okay, so I can orbit around with the orbit tool, and then I can instantly hit shift and hold it down, and then I can pan. So this is fantastic for very large objects, such as a house or very large buildings and things like that. So I can switch between the orbit and the panning. And between those two, you should be able to take a look at like really anything you want to take a look at in your project. The next one is zoom. So if you see right here, I am zooming in and out. I'm basically just using my mouse wheel to do that. If you don't have a mouse wheel, you can put your 2 fingers on your Chromebook and push forward or backwards. That will also do the zoom in and out. Or you can always go down to the camera tools here, select this one, which is zoom, and click and drag, and that will let you zoom as well. But yeah, so those are the three primary ones. There are some other camera tools if you want to play with them. There's a zoom window, and there's also a zoom extents. The zoom extents one is good if you want to kind of reset and look at basically what it does. It takes whatever your project is and tries to zoom in as close as possible to it so you can more easily see everything on one screen. But I recommend focusing on either just the orbit and pan as well as the zoom tools here. So these are your three primary ones. So remember, we've got orbit, you have panning, so I'm going to hold shift to be able to pan. And finally, you have zooming, which I'm using either my 2 fingers on my Chromebook or my mouse wheel here. And that is it for the camera tools.